And having a board and an audit committee that is willing to ask the tough questions, that's willing to follow up, and that's willing to really dig deeper into the organization, be it working with the CFO and the CEO, working with the internal audit, but really the willingness to probe and be skeptical about what they're hearing. So you often hear about trust and verify, but that's very much what the audit committee needs to do. They need to trust that they have the best people in place, but they also need to verify everything that they're being told and dig deeper. When we've gone out and talked to the stakeholders in the supply chain, so again, I'm talking about management, audit committee members, internal and external auditors. One of the most important things that we found as we brought these groups together to talk in one room was the importance of communication and having venues where outside of the formal audit committee process, where the audit committees focus on these issues, which is vitally important. I don't want to diminish the importance of that, but also having robust communications outside of that process. So having the audit committee being able to have a venue where they can pick up the phone and talk to the internal and external auditors, find out what's on their mind, what are they seeing across the industry or the segment of that particular company's line of business. And having the constant communication is really important. Also, I think having that probing mind. Audit committees need to ask many questions, and what we've heard is that the best audit committees make sure that they have time to do that. So often in the audit committee process there is almost a checklist that you have to go through and make sure that you're looking at all your responsibilities, all your oversight responsibilities, and it leaves very little time for open-ended questions and open dialogue that's not somehow been scripted out, or the agenda is so long that you don't have time. There's 10 minutes at the end of the meeting to ask open-ended general questions. And that's really where I think you get at some of these issues, is being able to explore that. So really making the time to have those communications. Well, I think very much looking to internal audit is important, and I think that on your internal audit rosters you may very well have certified fraud examiners, and so getting that resource, getting that experience. One of the things that we've heard from audit committees is that it's hard to have the breadth of experience that somebody like a certified fraud examiner might have. So having the time to ask internal audit, external audit, what have you seen? What is unique about our company that might lead us down a fraud path? Or what have you seen in our company that you've seen elsewhere? Where are our weaknesses? And just having that dialogue, that is a critical question I think audit committees should be asking. The single most important thing is that I would tell an audit committee member, ask that follow-up question. Never be afraid of that last question, because oftentimes that's where you'll find not necessarily fraud, but behavior that ultimately down the road could lead to fraud. Because ideally we'd like to stop fraud before it even starts. And it's my view that very few people start out, I'm going to commit fraud today. Instead, they take a series of steps for a whole host of various reasons that down the line can turn into fraudulent behavior. So if the audit committee can ask questions that get people thinking about it, they may never take those actions or those steps that ultimately could lead to fraud.